All right, welcome. This is the ELEET Review Podcast. We have a very special guest today. We have Han Talks First, very big Star Wars channel here. We definitely appreciate his channel, and you guys should definitely, obviously, check that out. And you want to let us know where to find you, Han?
Yeah, so I'm Han. I host the Han Talks First Star Wars podcast. Also cover Marvel content everywhere podcasts are found. There's also a video platform as well. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Go live every Sunday. You can find us there or hit me up on social media. Everything's at Han Talks First. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm glad we finally found time to do this. We've been trying for so long and now it's happening.
Yeah, definitely hard to get these collaborations going with everybody having schedules and everything, but we're glad we could have you on too. So today's video, we will be going through our top 5 favorite Star Wars characters all time here. So obviously there's a lot of characters to pull from. The Star Wars universe has tons and tons of characters. So yeah, it's definitely a painful process for me to pick this list, and I still don't feel 100% confident, but we will.
I'm very unconfident about
this. So we'll go into it, and we're going to go from worst to best here, kind of just each go through a character, talk about him real quick and everything. So let's talk with you since you're our guest, Han. You can let us know your number 5th spot, your 5 favorite character.
So like you said, this was so hard. When you guys originally reached out to me and you were like, we're going to do a top 5 for characters, ranking them, I was immediately like, oh, excited. But then I started like writing them out and I was like, oh my God, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. So I tried my best to rank them. It's so hard because I love so many characters. So it's, as of this moment, this is my ranking. It could change tomorrow. Yeah. Who knows?
Same, yeah.
But so in my 5th spot, and what I'm going to do is for anyone who's watching the video of this podcast, I'm going to show a Funko display of each character that I am picking. So my 5th spot is the one and only classic Star Wars villain, Darth Vader.
Hey.
Now I'm also kind of combining this with Anakin Skywalker, kind of putting them as one. But Vader / Anakin is my number 5 rank. He's just such an incredible character by design of George Lucas, and his whole arc from episode 1 to his death in episode 6. And just the transformation, the pain this guy goes through, his storyline is just so incredible, and not to mention one of the most iconic faces in movie history, period.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was just tweeting yesterday, actually, or a couple days ago, I posted a screenshot from Attack of the Clones, and it was actually a screenshot of my favorite Anakin Skywalker moment. And that's the moment where he's holding Shmi and his mom is dying in his arms. And to me, that's probably my favorite Anakin Skywalker scene, because it's just so, you feel the bellowing rage building inside this guy. And that's like, for me, that's the moment where it all went downhill. That was the last straw for him to ever have any semblance of being a good guy in the prequel era. But Anakin / Vader is my number 5. I'm sure it's on your guys' list too, but that's for me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great to hear, man. You're talking from episode 2, right? With his mom?
Yeah. Okay. What did I say?
Oh no, I was making sure. I forgot what scene that was in. But great.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Awesome. Well, what's your favorite Darth Vader moment then? If you had to pick a Darth Vader moment.
Ooh, great question. It is. It's an easy one. It's the moment in Return of the Jedi when he is talking with his son Luke on the balcony by the elevator of the ship platform, and they're just having a conversation like, I still feel good in you, and he's like, it's too late for me. And he's trying, you can feel that relationship of what could have been or what could be, and it's just going to lead to his demise, and that's a beautiful moment for me. So that's my favorite Vader scene.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that scene too. That's a good one. All right, Aiden, how about your turn? What's your number 5th spot?
Okay, this is probably the one I was like the most unsure about, because I don't feel too passionately about this one, but I put this one on my list purely to have a sequels character. I don't want to just all be like originals. So in its place, I put Kylo Ren, because I think that he probably is one of the best characters, and he has like the most solid character arc through the sequels.
Yeah.
I think he's the only character that like they kind of nailed.
Yeah.
And his whole arc is just so compelling. How he's struggling with the light side instead of the dark side. And I just really like his relationship with Rey. I think obviously there are some like dumb things that happen, especially in like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, I think he's a really good character, and I really like Adam Driver playing this character. So yeah,
Adam Driver's great.
He is. Yeah, I can agree with you there, man. Let's make this the thing. Maybe we'll each say like our favorite scene with these characters if we want to start adding that in. So Aiden, if you had to pick like one of your favorite scenes with that Kylo Ren, what would it be?
Okay, just one of the coolest moments I think is at the beginning of The Force Awakens when someone shoots him, but he like forces the blaster and it just stays still.
Oh yeah, that's a dope scene.
I think that's just like one of the coolest things. And honestly, whenever he just like freezes someone like Rey, it's just so cool. I love whenever he just like shows his Force powers. I think that's just really awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I really love his theme song. It's like one of my favorite Star Wars songs.
Oh yes, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah,
great theme.
It is
amazing. Okay, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's funny because I was really close to putting Kylo Ren in my number 5 spot, but I decided not to. But I was really thinking about it. But I actually put Yoda right here in number 5.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
He's not. I guess he's in it a good amount. He's not in it all the time. He doesn't show up until Empire Strikes Back, for the first time. But I think Empire Strikes Back alone makes me really love Yoda because he is just one of my favorite characters in that movie. I love his mentor role with Luke and how he trains him. And I think Yoda just has some of the best lines probably in all of Star Wars from Empire Strikes Back. And then like even in the prequels, I like the role he plays, kind of just being this leader and everything. I'm not a huge fan of how he goes into exile in episode 3. I've never liked that much, but besides that, I'm a pretty big fan of him. And I just love how he's this incredibly powerful Jedi. And just his passing and everything with his moment with Luke. So yeah, I think if I am going to pick a scene with Yoda, it's just definitely going to be when Luke doesn't feel like he can lift the ship up, and then Yoda lifts it up with the Force, and it plays that awesome song that I love. And I also liked in Rise of Skywalker how it called that back a little bit with Luke and Rey. So yeah, if I had to pick a scene, it would be that one with Yoda.
Excellent scene. Like every time, goosebumps.
Yeah, right. I agree. Same.
So magic.
Yeah. But all right, here we go. We're in the number 4 spot now. What are you going to pick on?
Ooh. All right, it's about to get real intense. This one was hard. This was a hard one for me to figure out where to put her. Hint. So this is Leia, Princess.
Yeah.
Leia Organa.
Mm-hmm.
It was so tough because I love Carrie Fisher so much. And what she did with this character just was so unique for the time, and I think adapted well even through the sequels. Carrie Fisher did fantastic. It was so sad when she died, and
it's tragic.
Yeah, and even though she wasn't physically present for the Rise of Skywalker, it was still so great to see her in that movie.
Yeah,
I don't agree that they should have used that footage for that movie, but it was it was so great and emotional to see her again. Mm-hmm. But Leia, number 4, mainly because this is kind of overused for female characters in movies, but she's a badass. She was like the OG badass, and
awesome.
She keeps that title. Like I think she coined that title for strong female characters, and her legacy just lives on. Like her contribution to the story of the Skywalker saga, she kisses her brothers, all that kind of good stuff. She's one of my favorites. As far as like favorite scene with Leia, oh man, there's like so many. I would probably when she insults Grand Moff Tarkin. And she's just like, I thought I could smell your foul stench when you walked in the room. It's like, wow, you have that much cojones. You're just going to insult one of the leaders of the Empire. Like, good for you. That's probably my favorite moment. And actually, can I put 2? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
My other one is when she's she takes control of the rescue mission for her, and she blasts a hole in the garbage compactor, looks at Luke and Han, is just like, into the trash compactor, fly boys. Love it. Love that moment.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you put her on the list. Aiden, what's your number 4 spot going to be?
Number 4. I'm going to be honest. I just changed my list right now.
That's going to happen though. That's why it's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to maybe put these in a tie. I was going to put Yoda. And then I just completely remembered that I forgot about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now I want him to be on the list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Obi-Wan, but I want Yoda on here. Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's just such a great character, and in my opinion, he's the best in the prequels. Like he's the best character from the prequels. He's just great in like every scene, even in the first one. Like he doesn't say much, but he still has really cool scenes. Obviously, one of my favorite scenes is the "Hello There" scene because
classic,
good meme.
That's the best meme. I think that my real favorite moment though is when he's fighting Darth Vader, and he just like looks at Luke right before he dies. It's just such a good scene.
Love that scene.
And then obviously the fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan is just awesome. Yeah. So
cool. Awesome. Well, my number 4 spot is also Obi-Wan, actually. I put Obi-Wan there. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. I love Obi-Wan. He's the one character, I think, in Star Wars that at no point really ever pisses me off or does something annoying.
Me too.
Something that I'm like, that was really dumb. Like, not really. I do think in 1 and 2, he's not used that much. I mean, in 2, he does quite a bit, I guess. But I felt like by 3, he was utilized very well. I obviously love Ewan McGregor. I think he's always, anything he's in, I love him in. So I still love him as Obi-Wan, but it felt like episode 3 is when I really love him the most. And I agree with you. He's, one of the things in the prequels that just is always done right. And then, even his role in New Hope is amazing, as though, I forget the actor's name, but, just old version of him and his role there. And then even in Empire Strikes Back, him showing back up as a Force ghost, kind of still guiding Luke in a way is really cool.
Yeah.
So for Obi-Wan, if I got to pick my favorite scene, I'm probably going to still go with that fight against Anakin on Mustafar. Just the whole part with him, even, cutting Anakin and just that whole line of dialogue there with his betrayal from Anakin and how he doesn't really want to kill Anakin, but, he had to kind of do what he did there. Yeah. And I'm sure once his Obi-Wan show comes out, there could be some better moments there. I'm really excited for that show. But
I cannot wait for Kenobi, the series. What is your guys' excitement level for that show compared to, I guess, all the other Star Wars shows coming?
It's at the top.
It's like 10.
Yeah.
I
mean, I love The Mandalorian to pieces. I'm excited for Book of Boba Fett, but I think Obi-Wan, takes the cake because Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen coming back, rematch between them both. That's what I want, That's a fan's dream.
Guys, this Kenobi show is going to be huge. Like, I don't think Disney's ready. I really think it's going to be bigger than season 1 of The Mandalorian. I feel like because it ties in like the OT people, it ties in the prequel people and even the sequel people, and just bringing Darth Vader and Hayden back. Good Lord. But Ewan alone, I was talking on my show. I was like, I would just watch Obi-Wan Kenobi cook soup and sit on the toilet for 3 hours. Like it doesn't matter what happens. I just cannot wait.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, very excited for that show. So let's go ahead and go to our top 3 spot. It's getting even more intense now. Let's go here. So I'm going to show the dark side of the Force some more love. My 3rd spot is, he's a master of evil. He's a grandfather. He's a mentor. He shoots lightning out of his fingertips. It is Emperor Palpatine / Sheev. So this was an easy one for me, honestly, to have him in my ranking, because for as much as the Skywalker saga is about Anakin and Luke, it's equally just about Emperor Palpatine. I mean, it's about the balance of the Force. The balance between Skywalkers has always been Sheev.
even through the sequels, whether it was intentional for them or not to do that. It ended up becoming that. But it's one of those characters, if you look at just the original trilogy alone, the level of mystery surrounding the Emperor was one of what made, I think, those movies so groped in mythology so much and so engaging, because we don't know a lot about this guy. And of course, he was based off the Emperor of the Galaxy from the Dune novels, but this was taken to like a whole other level. And he's really smart, you know, probably one of the smartest guys in the galaxy, extremely powerful, and just his overall story, even in like the novels. If you look at Darth Plagueis, that novel, great backstory for him. But just the pure evilness of this guy is what draws me so much to him. So he's definitely my number 3. Oh, favorite scene. It would have to be, it's kind of a cop-out answer, but I'm going to say the scene in Revenge of the Sith when him and Anakin are talking at the opera. And he's just like, he drops all those lines and head turns where he's just like, ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? That's my favorite scene.
It's a good meme too.
It's a great meme.
Awesome, man. That's great. All right, Aiden, what's your third spot?
In number 3, I put Darth Vader. I wanted to put him higher, but I mean, not to start like an argument or anything, but I did not like him. I did not like Anakin very much in the prequels. I just think they could have given him a better script and better lines, because he's pretty dull a lot of the time. But I don't really want to focus on that. I did like him in Revenge of the Sith. I think he is a good character in that. And I think his Fall to the Dark Side is very convincing towards the end, when he's fighting Obi-Wan and stuff. I think that all that stuff is like great. Him in the originals though, he's just awesome. And even like that scene in Rogue One, just like, it's amazing. He can just be so cool and have like the coolest action scene. And just him and Luke together, like, it's just great seeing them together, and especially like towards the end. That's just so good. And that might be my favorite Vader scene. That tied with Rogue One probably. I also just like the Empire Strikes Back final battle. I think it's all great stuff. I think he's an author.
Aiden's just like, my favorite scene is every scene.
Exactly. Too hard to choose a favorite scene.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I feel
that. Okay, my number 1 scene is probably just the classic Luke, I am your father scene, because that scene's the best. Yeah,
amazing. Cool. Yeah. All right, dope. Well, my third spot is going to go to Han Solo. He is my number 3 spot. I love Han Solo. I think he is just one of the most charismatic.
Thanks, I love you too.
Oh yeah. Yep, obviously. But yeah, I mean, he's just one of those characteristic people. I mean, I just think he's hilarious. Harrison Ford, obviously, I think was, honestly, I could say born to play Han Solo. I think, you know, we got that Solo spin-off movie, and it was good. But I still think Harrison Ford just is up there to play that role, and I don't know anybody else who could really do it as good. I agree. In episode 4 and episode 5, he's just awesome. I know him and Chewie kind of honestly go hand in hand, so I kind of am thinking about Chewie when I talk about Han. But just the dynamic there, and the Millennium Falcon, and his relationship with Lando, and even when he talks to Luke and kind of has more of the cynical side of the Force and everything, it's really interesting. And then I also love him in The Force Awakens. He's just great in there, and I was happy to see him back. And I was pleasantly surprised to see him in Rise of Skywalker. I thought Harrison Ford was totally, completely done with the role, and then he was back there. I had no idea that was going to happen. So that was pretty fun. So yeah, I mean, I love Han Solo. I think in Return of the Jedi, I don't love him as much. I do think Harrison Ford's attitude towards that movie was a little, he didn't want to be in there too much, it seems like. So I think Han goes down a little bit from that movie. He's still fun enough, but that's why I can't put him much higher here. But based on episode 4 and 5, I just absolutely love him. So if I had to pick a favorite scene, that's a little tough. How about I'll just go with who shot first? Him with in the cantina. That's a dope scene where he shoots him. I still don't really know who shot first, but I don't know that debate too well. So but we'll go with that.
McClunky.
Yeah,
That's the answer. Whatever that means.
that's the answer. So here we go. Top 2 spots. What's our number 2?
Actually, could I ask you a quick question about Han Solo? I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on the Solo movie that came out, because you were talking about how Harrison was like born to play this role. What do you think of Alden's portrayal in that movie? I guess
I still thought it was pretty good. I guess
I liked
did
it.
as good a job as anybody could. It's just not as good as Harrison, of course. But yeah, I guess if I had to pick anybody to do it, that guy did a pretty good job. I still like that movie quite a bit, actually, more than a lot of people do.
I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good charisma too. Not the same level, but like it's just, I think he's good. He's a good choice.
Yeah, I really don't like how that movie gets a lot of crap. And people say it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it has some problems, but in no way is it just a piece of crap, people make it out to be. So it's good to hear.
It's a fun one for me.
Yeah, it is crazy to hear the
classic
backstory.
Adventure film.
Yeah, hearing the backstory of them making that movie and everything is pretty crazy how much went into making that movie and all the differences that happened and everything. So I don't know how the original version that was going to happen would have been, but I think what we got is still pretty good. So
yeah, I think so.
But you want to give us your number 2 spot?
My number 2. Oh, this is where like fans are divided because the top 2 spots are so hard. It's the symbol of hope himself, Luke Skywalker. So, I mean, I really don't have to explain why he's one of my favorite characters, because it's freaking Luke Skywalker. But basically, he is looking at A New Hope, for example. Luke Skywalker is the audience. It is the people watching, because Luke's discovering this galaxy while when we're watching the film. He's never left Tatooine. So when he's visiting all these places, he's seeing it for the first time, just like the audiences were when we watched that movie. And then we go through him all the way up until the Rise of Skywalker. And he's kind of, for me, it's just kind of like not watching myself. That sounds very egocentric, but like kind of almost like if I was to connect to anyone in Star Wars most, it would be Luke, because he just wants to make something of himself, and he wants lore. He wants to be something, and eventually he finally discovers what that is, and that's to be just like redeeming his father and being Vader's karma, just embracing your family and your past and relationships, really, also connecting with Leia and stuff. My favorite Luke Skywalker scene, I think I'm going to steal yours, which was what you said about Yoda with the X-Wing. I think I'll take that for my Luke one, but just from his perspective, just like losing all faith and then watching this little green frog lift a ship and being absolutely bewildered. It's kind of how I feel too. So that's my favorite scene.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. Aiden, what's your number 2 spot?
Yeah, my number 2 spot is also Luke Skywalker for
yes,
basically the same reasons. I feel like me and you might end up having the same last 2. I mean, he's a great character, and he probably has the best character arc out of all of them too. I feel like I don't have like too much to say just because like we just talked about him. But I'm gonna say my one favorite scene is, I'm just gonna go with the classic one where he's looking up at the 2 suns and is playing that music. I think that's my favorite Star Wars like song, like out of all of them. Yeah. And then also it kind of connects to the Last Jedi scene where he dies and it plays that same song again. I just think that is really good.
Good.
And honestly, like I know a lot of people have a problem with him in like The Last Jedi, but I thought that was a good arc, having like a fallen hero and he has to come back and like, He does all that cool Force stuff. I thought it was a really good way to bring him back, even though a lot of people disagree with that.
Yeah, it just shows even the best of us can fall. Time and again.
Right. All right. Awesome. My number 2 spot is actually going to go to Darth Vader / Anakin. Yeah, I don't have him quite at number 1. Reason being kind of similar to you, Aiden. I don't like Anakin much in the prequels. Even by episode 3, I don't necessarily love his motivation to becoming Darth Vader. I think it happens a little too easily, I guess, for me. How easily he's persuaded to that side. Granted, I haven't finished the Clone Wars. What I've seen so far, love what they do with him in the Clone Wars. I think that does definitely flesh him out a lot. Based on the movies themselves, though, don't love him in the prequels. But obviously, Darth Vader, though, honestly, it almost feels like a whole separate character. I love everything Darth Vader. I've never really hated anything that Darth Vader's done. In the originals, he's a fantastic villain. Obviously, gotta love his theme music is amazing. The Imperial March, and you just love how powerful he is. And then even in Rogue One, that scene's obviously amazing, where he shows up there. Everybody knows that scene, and actually, Jedi Fallen Order, I love when he shows up there, and I guess that's technically canon, so I'll count it. Yeah. But where he shows up there at the end, and he's just a powerful guy. You can't fight and everything. Just fantastic. And then I love him fighting Obi-Wan and everything. So he's a great character. Those are a few of my favorite scenes there. I just think he's one of the best villains of all time in any sort of movie history, entertainment history. Just a fantastic character. I will give one more scene a shout out. Is when he is talking to Luke at the end of Return of Jedi after he's about to pass away. I love that line there where he says Luke's already saved him. That's one of my favorite scenes of all Star Wars. So
it's so good.
And the cremation, everything like that, just awesome to see. So love him. And here we go. We are at number 1. It's the final spot here. Ready to give it to us?
Oh, okay. So do you guys want to take a guess on maybe what my number 1 is?
I've been trying to think of it.
From the prequels?
No clue.
From the prequels.
No, it's from the prequels.
Oh, man. I want to say no. Qui-Gon?
No, but
Obi-Wan.
That's a great guess. No, not Obi-Wan. Okay, so my number 1 is, as far as my ranking, is and has been my favorite Star Wars character since The Phantom Menace came out. It's been that long. It hasn't changed. This number 1 spot is always the same. And that is my boy, Mace Windu. Now, not a lot of people say Mace is their favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's tons of reasons I could give you as to why Mace is my favorite. But I guess just to do it really quickly, he is... let's talk about this. The purple lightsaber.
Ooh.
His hilt alone is one of the most beautiful lightsabers I've ever seen, with the amethyst color. And the fact that came about just because Samuel L. Jackson just wanted to see himself in a big fight scene. It's like, that is awesome. It's so Samuel Jackson. Yeah. And the character in the films is also one of the most unique in the prequel era because he adapted his own unique combat style, which is Vapad. And if I could be wrong about this, but I think he's still the only character who can do that. And it's basically just his way of fighting using his inner darkness against his opponents and then turning his opponent's aggression against them. And it's a very unique trait, something he trained himself to do. And then on top of that, he also has this ability to see the Force as a prism, which he calls Shatterpoint, which I think they did a novel on. And he's able to use this prism viewfinder of the Force and literally see people's weaknesses so he can figure out how to kill them and stuff like that. Wow. And I wish more of this was actually on screen that we could see and stuff.
I had no idea.
I really think he was kind of underused in the prequels. I feel like he was there just for a famous person to be in Star Wars back at that time, you know? And just like a couple of fun facts about Mace. I could talk about this guy forever. I'm going to try and keep it real quick for you guys. He was his name. He actually, when he was born, he never had a name. His parents were killed on I forgot what planet it was, but he was part of a ghost Windu tribe. That's what his people were called. Oh. And he was actually found by Yoda, and Yoda gave him the name Mace Windu. And Yoda raised him, and well, not raised him literally, but he kind of mentored him, and he's the one who trained him primarily at the academy. So you could kind of say Yoda's Mace's father, which is really cool. And another fun fact, Mace Windu, that character idea, was actually supposed to be the narrator of the original trilogy back in George Lucas's first draft, when it was The Adventures of Luke Starkiller, as told by the Journal of the Wills, narrated by Mace Windu, and then later on he changed it to Windu. But just such a rich history, and I just love this character. I think it's partially because I'm biased. I love Samuel L. Jackson and anything he's in.
I love Sam Jackson.
He's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll leave you with is he could still be alive. We never saw him die on screen. He threw out the balcony, but he could still be out there.
Also,
coming back for blood.
Anyone who dies in Star Wars can come back.
As we've seen, yeah. No one's ever.
Maul, I thought was dead. Yeah, I was going to ask you actually. Do you think he's coming back? Do you think he's going to show up again sometime? Disney Plus show or something?
I mean, Sam Jackson has said numerous times he wants to come back. He even said it at Star Wars Celebration a couple years ago. Remember that? And so he wants to. I think he thinks it can happen. Will it happen? It's for me, it's like a 50-50. I don't know if I can go under or over that, because I feel like Disney's really at the point where they're like, we want to go forward and we want to play in this era of Mandalorian a lot right now. And I feel like if there is a time to do it, it's right now, because he's getting older, and we kind of have to, there's a limited amount of time, but I hope so. I think it would be incredible to see. That might be my bias talking, but
I'd be down.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I'd love a Mace Windu show, like a Disney Plus show series.
Especially with Sam Jackson.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
And then favorite scene, it's real simple. This part, when he says that Attack of the Clones arena.
Oh, I think
that's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's get to number one here. What's your number one spot, Aiden?
Obviously, I think we all know who it is. Jar Jar Binks, of course.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm just kidding. Number one, I thought that you would have put this Han. I actually put Han Solo at number one. This is just bias. I've always loved Han Solo and his charisma. He's just the funnest. I do think Luke Skywalker is the best character, I think. But Han Solo, I just personally love him. I love Harrison Ford. I love him in all the movies, actually. I don't think he's as good in Return of the Jedi, because Harrison Ford wanted him to die in Empire Strikes Back. But he's still got that charisma, and he's still a lot of fun. I love him in Chewie's dynamic. Laugh It Up, Buzzball. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
I think I can't choose a favorite scene because he doesn't. I don't know. I think one of my favorite scenes is when Kylo Ren kills him. And I also I love him in that movie. I think he's the best character in that movie. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about him, but I just love him, and I love every time he's on screen.
Did you guys see that coming, his death in The Force Awakens? Or was that a shock to you?
I think I had heard someone talk about it. Like I was overhearing somebody in one of my classes. So I was kind of like, that doesn't happen. And then it did happen. But
I wasn't expecting it until he was on the bridge with Kylo Ren. I'm like, ooh, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was really sad.
Beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Beautiful scene. It was sad, but totally shocked me. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it definitely upset me. I saw it in theaters and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, you really killed them? And he's like, oh,
even like the second time I saw it in theaters, I'm like, oh no, it's coming up. Oh
yeah.
I gotta watch it again.
Right. It's tough.
I also just want to mention I did love him in Rise of Skywalker. That was a huge shock to me.
I love that scene.
He would show up. Like I thought Luke would show up maybe, but not Han Solo.
I did too. And then the camera pans and you see Han. It's like, what? They convinced Harrison to come back? How?
I know, right? Like, what the heck?
Pay him a crap ton of money, something, just get him back there.
He did not care about what a Force ghost was.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Definitely not. All right. Well, my number one spot, as you guys could probably guess, it's going to be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already talked about him, but I will just say I love Luke Skywalker. He is our main reason to go through this whole story that started everything off. I will say in A New Hope, he starts off this kind of whiny, little annoying boy, but I still think it's acted well. And it's awesome just to see the arc he goes on. And then by the time you get to Return of the Jedi, I just think he becomes one of the dopest characters. I mean, just where he dresses up in all black and he has the green lightsaber he makes. Like, it's just a sign of like, he's this super mature, like ready to be this master, So it's amazing. And then, yeah, I mean, I love him showing back up in the sequels. I really do. And I have to say my favorite scene is The Force Awakens when he's there. I'm just kidding. That's not my favorite scene. But
he's there at the end.
But I was really upset when he didn't get more in The Force Awakens because I wanted to see him more. And then that scene didn't finish up. And then Last Jedi, he just throws the lightsaber. I was like, come on, man. But I still did like him in The Last Jedi, actually, as well. I did like his arc. And I do love his scene of passing away. Everything there was amazing. And actually, really, if I had to say one of my favorite scenes, it is actually when he goes up to Leia before he's about to go out into the battle.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of says goodbye to her. And it's like the first time they've seen each other in a long time. I absolutely love that scene. The music that plays there and everything, it has made me tear up before watching that scene. I love that scene.
It's so good.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many scenes I can go over, but I also got to give a shout out to The Mandalorian season 2 when Luke Skywalker shows up there at the end. I mean, that was
talk about tears.
So cool.
Oh my God.
That was so unexpected. I did not think they were going there. I was hoping they would. I was like, bring Luke back. Like, I know you guys won't, but come on, do it. They did it. It was
I just wish they used like a little bit better CGI. But
Agreed. Like it's crazy that VFX artists somewhere on YouTube could make that a little better than the actual Disney people.
Right.
They get hired.
Yeah, but I still love that Mark Hamill came back and was like walking as that character, doing that stuff, and just putting a face on him. Like, that makes me so, like, I just love Mark Hamill and the fact that he loves Star Wars so much and is willing to show back up and do that. Like, I think he helps make the character even just cooler for me. And, as much as I love Han Solo, I don't love Harrison Ford's attitude towards Star Wars and the character.
That's true.
I don't like how cynical he is about it and everything, but I love Mark Hamill's appreciation for it, how he helps hypes the fan up. And I really do hope to see more Luke in the future of Star Wars here. I think he's a character that should be lasting throughout every saga and everything. So I
agree. And to go off of what you said, he is the best brand ambassador for Star Wars ever since 1977. He loves this franchise so much, and he will talk to anyone about it. And he will have discussions and just engage with the fans, which you don't see a lot from big movie stars. And if anybody, he would have a reason to be like, no, right? I ignore the fans, don't talk to me. But he doesn't. He just is so humble. And also, to go off what you said about his acting you said something about his performance in The Last Jedi. It's no secret, I'm not a fan of that movie, but I will say Mark Hamill's acting in The Last Jedi is superb.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Did a great job playing Luke at that point in his life. And it was, even though he didn't agree with it at the time, right? He still was like, I got to embrace this character and do my job. And he killed it. It was an amazing performance.
Yeah, I agree, especially when you hear how much he doesn't like The Last Jedi himself, or how he disagreed a lot with Rian Johnson. I love that he still was able to, give a good performance there. But, that's awesome. I was thinking before we end, if you guys want to give any honorable mentions at all, you don't have to go into favorite scenes or anything, but if there's anybody who you were like, oh, I feel so bad I didn't put this character in or something. Do you guys have any of those left? If you want to go first, Han, anybody you still want to be like, this is a great Star Wars character?
I do, actually. And it's another prequel character. It's Qui-Gon Jin. I would actually say he's very similar to Mace Windu in the ways that he views the Jedi Council, the way that he views the Force. He embraces a little dark side from time to time as well, but also just a great performance by Liam. And I didn't show any of the sequel people some love, so I will just say as honorable mention Rey.
Okay.
Because
she's
Daisy
great.
Daisy Ridley is so incredible as an actor and playing Rey, and she was this new generation's Luke, I guess, and she is a symbol of hope in some respects too. And I love some of the stuff that happened with her, especially in The Force Awakens. And I would love, as rare as I think it's going to be, I would love to see more Rey in the future. Because
I agree.
She's great.
I agree. Awesome. That's great. What about you, Aiden? Any honorable mentions?
Well, I'm just gonna like list a few. R2D2, C3PO.
True. They're important.
All of these, Leia, Yoda. Again, I really want to put him on here. I think one of my biggest honorable mentions is actually the Mandalorian, because he kind of took what I wanted to see from Boba Fett, but put it into action. And he was just so cool in that show, and the action is great. And I really like Pedro Pascal. So I did want to put him on there, but he'd probably be like top 10. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Awesome.
Nice. What about you,
I
Kevin?
got a few. I'll shout him out real quick. I love Boba Fett. I obviously always wanted to see more of him in the originals. I'm so glad they're bringing him back now, and he's getting the justice he needed.
Yes.
I loved him in Mandalorian season 2. Very excited for his show. So I think Boba Fett's a great character. I just love his bounty hunter style and everything. I agree. I'm going to go with R2D2. C3PO is important, but he's not one of my favorites. But I do love R2D2 and how he's been around for everything. It's fantastic. Kylo Ren, like I told you earlier, really wanted him on my list. He's a great villain. I agree with you. Rey's fantastic. I don't usually have many problems with Rey at all. I think she's awesome. Mando, I agree with you. Mandalorian, just Din Djarin, awesome character. I love how mysterious he was, and how his whole arc with Baby Yoda is just fantastic with Grogu. I'm gonna give Lando a shout out. Love Lando.
Nice. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Rise of Skywalker, he was okay, but everything else, love Lando in. Even Lando in the Solo movie, I thought was awesome. And then I'll give a shout out to this guy right here, Grogu. I love Grogu. I mean, he's just the best thing to see in The Mandalorian besides Mando.
He is awesome.
Great.
Wait, what does that poster say?
It says I'm cute, feed me. And it's just eating one of the frogs. Yeah. But that's awesome, guys. Well, thanks for coming on, Han. It was great having you on. Great to hear your list.
Yeah.
And if you one more time just want to let us know where to find you, let anybody know where to check you out.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you both too for inviting me. I'm glad we finally got the chance to do it. This was fun. It was something I had never thought about doing, ranking characters, which is kind of shocking because I've had a channel for a pretty long time.
This is our first time doing it too.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we can continue the conversation another time. We could rank something else and do another collaboration.
I'd love to have you back on.
Yeah,
if I'm ever, we'll talk more. If I ever have an opening slot on my show, I would love to invite you guys.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, this was great. Thanks you so much for the invite. And all of you listeners can find me, of course, at Han Talks First, anywhere podcasts are found. And then live streams every Sunday at noon Pacific on YouTube and Twitch, and hit me up on social media. I talk to everybody. I answer all comments. I love talking Star Wars, so hit me up.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Han. You guys have a great week. Much. And make sure you like, subscribe, comment below your favorite characters. And thank you.
Yeah.